Welcome back to Educator.com. This lesson covers the KML XML-based map language and its use in Google Earth and Google Maps. One of the more popular software applications of the past half-decade is Google Earth. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at KML, which is the language that underlies all Google Earth place marks and other points of reference. We're going to take a look at how we set up a place mark and how we can edit our KML. We're going to use an XML feature called See Data Sections to allow us to include other information. And we're going to see how we can use these to add HTML to your KML to create richer place marks and other features. Setting up a place mark in Google involves the creation of a file in KML, and you can manipulate that directly in text, and that allows you to add the markup. So let's take a look at the background of the language we'll be using. KML stands for Keyhole Markup Language. The keyhole part comes from Keyhole Incorporated, which was a company that started in 2001 specifically to create a tool called Keyhole Earth Viewer. If you happen to watch early coverage of the Iraq War in 2003, you might have noticed a lot of the news stations had dramatic zoom-ins from outer space into the part of the globe where the war was taking place. Most of that was done with Keyhole Earth Viewer. And the following year, 2004, is when Google bought out Keyhole, and Keyhole Earth Viewer became Google Earth. So the reason that it's not called Google Earth Markup Language and Keyhole Markup Language is that the language was laid out and standardized before Google got involved. The easiest way to generate a KML file is to work through the Google Earth application itself. So let's get started with that. I'm going to bring up Google Earth here. And right now I've already zoomed it into downtown Los Angeles, and we're getting an overhead view of the US Bank Tower, which is the tallest building in downtown Los Angeles. And I've unclicked all the layers full of photos and other things that might get in our way so we can kind of get a clearer view of what we're looking at. So let's say I'd like to put a place mark at the US Bank Tower so that I can put some information there. So I get my place mark there. And here is my window to edit my place mark. So for the name, I'm just going to say US Bank Tower. And I see it gives me the latitude and longitude. And I have some text I'd like to put in, and to save you the time of watching me type, I'm going to go get it out of a text file, since we'll be using this text for a little bit. I'm just going to take it from here. We'll go back to Google Earth. And we'll paste the description. The skyscraper, formerly known as the Library Tower, is the tallest building in Los Angeles and the 47th tallest building worldwide. So now I've got my place mark here. I click OK. And now this place mark is part of my Google Earth. So if I hover over it, I see it increases in size a little bit. If I click on it, then a speech balloon pops up, including the name and the description that I gave. And it includes extra Google added features such as directions to here, from here, etc., etc., etc. It's the nature of bookmarks. Now, what we can do here, now that we have this place mark, and I'm going to highlight it over here in my places list on the left-hand side of my Google Earth screen, is I can copy it, use your favorite copy method, and I can open up a text editor. And if I paste what I've copied, instead of being a picture of a pushpin with a title, I get all of this XML code. This is KML. Now, if you are following along and creating your own place mark for your own favorite landmark, then your code's going to look a little bit different than mine. But in case you're following in lockstep, we've actually included a file. A KML file starts with an XML declaration. Different XML languages have different requirements in terms of whether you should include an XML declaration or you shouldn't include an XML declaration, or you don't have to. KML, you should. The first element, our root element, is the KML element. And we declare a whole bunch of namespaces in here for the original KML, some Google extensions of KML, and we even have some Atom syndication in here if we want it. The next element, which really encloses the rest of the file, is the document element. It's named KML file by default. First thing it includes is a whole bunch of style elements. These style elements actually describe the icon itself, the actual pushpin icon that appears on my Google Earth screen. It talks about which image they're using. In this case, it's a yellow pushpin by default. It talks about how it should behave when it's hovered over. For example, the default behavior is that a pushpin place mark will enlarge slightly to call attention to itself when you hover your mouse over it. That kind of thing is all described in these style elements. And then we have the place mark element itself. This here is the information that I typed in. I gave the place mark a name, and I put in a description. In this case, I copied and pasted it, but I could have typed it as well. So this is my sole contribution to the entire file. Following that, there's look at information. This look at element actually describes the longitude and latitude of the place mark in terms of, in a 3D sense, where the place mark is in terms of altitude. All this information that Google Earth needs to provide me with a really rich three-dimensional experience. So all this information is generated automatically. It's stored by Google Earth, and the only part I see are the name and description, which are interpreted by Google Earth and popped into that speech balloon along with what else they want to put in there, like direction information. Now, you may have seen a number of bookmarks, place marks in Google Earth that have a lot richer content than just a little bit of text. They might have pictures, they might have styles, and that's because you can actually add markup content to this description element, specifically because there's an HTML browser built in there. There are two